Welcome to Chapter 4. I've already downloaded the workbook, saved it as Chapter 4 underscore my last name. I can see that up here in the ribbon. Now, this particular workbook has two worksheets of the 2024 sales and the November individual sales. We're going to remain on the first sheet for a moment here. I'm going to hit page down a couple times here on my sheet. So I'm going to click in my sheet and I can see that I have 84 rows of data. Now, each one of these rows is a record. So you might hear me talk about a record or a row. I'll use those interchangeably because each one of these rows pertains to one cell. So they sold a house. We can see the list price. We can sell the sale price, how much they put down, and the address. All right, I'm going to go Control Home, take me back to the top of my sheet. Notice that when I do scroll, my headers go up underneath the ribbon. And I want to stop that so I can go into my View tab. Click on Freeze Panes, and for this particular one, I'll hit Freeze Top Row. When I do, only my top row is frozen. Everything else scrolls up underneath when I scroll. I may not want to do that, so I'm going to unfreeze my panes. Now, the author has us click in B8, and we're going to see that in my IT lab quite a bit, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you something that I like better. But I'll go ahead and hit Freeze Panes. Notice that everything to the left and everything above here in Freeze Panes is frozen. So when I scroll, everything stays at row 7 and above stays. And if I scroll to the right, everything goes underneath the listing. Now that's great. However, on the Moss, we might have something where I'm going to unfreeze the panes. We might have something where it says freeze everything above row 7. And then if you click in here, not everything above row 7 is frozen. Well, you do, but the column is not. So if I click in A8, now freeze panes, everything is frozen. And when I scroll to the right, everything goes underneath the margin there. Okay, so I like that. I'm going to go ahead and unfreeze that pane. I'm going to go back to what the author is doing here so that we can follow along with how she does it in my IT lab. Now, she wants you to use a go-to command, so I'm going to hit a Control-G. We're going to type in K83. That doesn't quite get us to the end of our data set, but it's close. I can see that here, K83 is now my active cell. Again, I can see that my data goes underneath the listing. Control Home takes me back to the B8 position. Now let's take a look at our page break. So I'm going to click on the View tab, if you're not already there. And I'm going to do the page break preview, and it's going to give me dotted lines. Let me zoom in just a minute. It's going to give me some dotted lines so I can see where the page breaks are. By default, Excel goes, just like if you hit enter, goes page 1, then page 2. Now, if they had more data, it'd go page 3, and then it would go back up to the top right. Now, that doesn't make sense if you're looking across one cell. So if I want to look at this record here, I don't want to look at page 1 and then have to go to page 3 to find the rest of the record. So we're going to adjust that here in a minute. What we want to do is we want to come down to our page break. Now this is a dotted line. This is where it's saying it thinks it wants the page break. So I'm going to go ahead and click in row 46, and I'm going to click on the page layout tab and insert a break. So insert a page break. That dotted line now becomes a solid line, and I can take that solid line and I'm going to drag it up 1. Why? Because if I look here, these are October sales and this is November sales. It doesn't make sense to leave one November cell on the bottom of October's page. So I'm going to move that up. Now here's a cool little trick. We're going to set a print area. So in your instructions it says Control Home. That just takes us back to that first position. And I want to select the range D7 through L31. I'm going to go up to the name box, go D7 colon L31, and when I hit enter, it highlights that area. If I go Control P, I can see that here's one page. Oops, I forgot to hit set print area. Let's go set print area. If I go Control P, here's part of my page, and I can see there's 2 pages here, and I can see that I have a couple orphaned columns. Now, you might get a note occasionally from me saying, don't leave orphan columns on your worksheet. So I'm going back to my main view by pressing Escape, and I want all this to be on one page. So I'm going to scale the page. For most of the time, for your homework, you can come right up here and say one page. That's all you need. and it'll print on one page. So when I go Control P, I can see that, yes, I'm indeed on one page. I'll hit the back button, but we're going to also learn how to scale. So if I'm at, this was back at 100% here, 100%, I can see that I have the page break, and I can scale by clicking in 5 increments. There's 85, it's on one page, 80 is on one page, and then 75 takes me back to a full page instead of having that 2 page. Because let's see, go back to here, 80. If I hit Control P, my second page, that doesn't make sense at all. One orphaned column. Again, check your homework before sending it to me. Make sure you don't have any orphaned columns. I'm going to go to print area. I'm going to clear the print area. Now, we might want to print titles. So I want this title here to be on the top of every page. Right now, if I go Control P, here's my title, row 7. I don't have it here. So what does this column represent? If I'm looking, I have no idea. So hit the back button. We want to make sure that we print titles. So right up here in the print setup, we're going to print titles. And I can say rows to repeat at top. And if I click on the 7, it gives me a $7, a $7. Let's do a print preview. Now, when I go through my pages, I can see that I have that header on the top of each page. You may also want to print the first 3 columns. So then I'm going to say columns to repeat at top, and I might say A, B, and C. We could also change this to read over and down. And I'll say print preview. Now here's my header. Here's my headers here, and there's my header. Okay, so that works good. Let's see if I go back to print titles. If I go over and down, let's see what that looked like. First page goes down to the bottom. Second page, again, we're going to want to scale our pages so it fits to one page. If you turn in homework that looks like this or looks like this, then I'm going to ask you to go back to normal view. So here's page break view. Here is page layout view, and I want a normal view. So when you turn in homework, I like to see the normal view. All right, that's it for this part of it. I'll see you on the next one.